Picture Europe in the late 18th century, a continent on the brink of revolution. This was a time when the air was thick with the scent of change. Societies were in flux, burdened by the oppressive weight of feudal systems and monarchies. The political landscape was a powder keg, ripe for the spark of rebellion. Economically, disparities were glaring. The rich reveled in opulence while the poor languished in squalor. Particularly in France, the pot was simmering, ready to boil over, and it did in the form of the French Revolution, a cataclysmic event that would reshape the country and indeed the world. The revolution, born out of a hunger for liberty, equality, and fraternity, would dismantle the old order and herald a new era. And in this era of upheaval and change, a young man named Napoleon Bonaparte was about to make his mark on history. Born in Corsica in 1769, Napoleon Bonaparte was destined for a life far from ordinary. He was the second of 8 children, born into a family of minor nobility. But don't be mistaken, his beginnings were relatively humble. A scholarship enabled him to study at France's prestigious military school, École Militaire in Paris. There, he discovered his passion and talent for military strategy and artillery. As a young man, Napoleon was not only intelligent but also fiercely ambitious. His voracious appetite for knowledge, coupled with his undeniable military prowess, set the stage for his rapid rise. This rise was not without challenge, but Napoleon had a knack for seizing opportunities in times of chaos. And chaos was plentiful during the French Revolution. The French Revolution, a time of great upheaval and change, was the perfect backdrop for Napoleon's ambitious ascent. As the revolution raged on, Napoleon's star rose. He quickly climbed the ranks of the French military, gaining notoriety for his decisive victories and strategic brilliance. His reputation as a military genius grew, and with it, his influence. In 1799, the political landscape of France changed dramatically. The Directory, the government of the French Revolution, was losing power and popularity. Napoleon, seizing the moment, orchestrated a coup d'état, effectively ending the Directory and establishing a new government, the Consulate. Napoleon, unsurprisingly, appointed himself as the first consul of France. As first consul, Napoleon began to implement reforms that modernized France. He centralized the government, streamlined the legal system with the introduction of the Napoleonic Code, and stabilized the French economy. His rule, though autocratic, brought a sense of order and stability that France desperately needed after the tumultuous years of the Revolution. By 1804, Napoleon was ready to claim the ultimate power. He crowned himself Emperor of the French. His rise from a young Corsican boy to the Emperor of France was nothing short of extraordinary, a testament to his ambition, intelligence, and military genius. As Emperor, Napoleon embarked on a series of military campaigns known as the Napoleonic Wars. These were a series of conflicts fought between France and various European powers. They spanned over a decade, marking the beginning of the 19th century with a promise of change and a new world order. Napoleon was not just a conqueror, he was a strategist. He brought to the battlefield a combination of speed, firepower, and surprise. His battlefield successes were often rooted in his ability to motivate his troops, his meticulous planning, and his innovative use of artillery. Throughout the Napoleonic Wars, he demonstrated a keen understanding of the terrain, the use of mobile reserves, and the importance of morale in warfare. Among the major campaigns, the Battle of Austerlitz stands out as a testament to Napoleon's genius. It was here, in December of 1805, that Napoleon delivered a crushing defeat to the combined forces of Russia and Austria, despite being greatly outnumbered. This victory cemented his reputation as one of the greatest military strategists in history. But Napoleon's reign was not confined to the battlefield. Back home in France, he initiated a series of sweeping domestic reforms. He established the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that forms the basis of many civil law systems worldwide even today. He modernized the French economy, introduced a centralized administration, and championed the ideals of the French Revolution, including equality before the law and the right to property. Education was another area where Napoleon left his mark. He created a system of public education, believing that an educated populace was the key to a strong nation. These reforms had a profound impact on French society, shaping it into the modern nation we know today. Despite his successes, Napoleon's ambition would ultimately lead to his downfall. His desire for power and territorial expansion would stretch the French Empire thin, setting the stage for his defeat and exile. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's marvel at the man who, for a time, held Europe in the palm of his hand. In 1812, Napoleon made a fateful decision. He invaded Russia. The Russian campaign, often referred to as Napoleon's Russian Waterloo, was nothing short of a catastrophe. A combination of harsh winter conditions, logistical issues, and scorched earth warfare tactics by the Russians resulted in a disastrous loss for Napoleon's Grande Armée. The once invincible force was reduced to a fraction of its original size, severely weakening Napoleon's grip on power. The Russian campaign was a turning point, marking the beginning of Napoleon's downfall. His military prowess and strategic genius could not salvage the situation. The damage was done, and his reputation was in tatters. His once loyal allies began to question his leadership, and his enemies smelled blood. In 1815, the Battle of Waterloo sealed Napoleon's fate. This pivotal encounter saw the forces of the Seventh Coalition, led by the Duke of Wellington and Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher, decisively defeat Napoleon's army. The little corporal was finally defeated, his dream of a united Europe under French rule shattered. The aftermath of Waterloo was a period of exile for Napoleon, first on the island of Elba and then on the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. Here, in isolation and far removed from the power and glory he once knew, Napoleon spent his final years. His health deteriorated rapidly, and he died in May 1821, away from the land he loved and the people he ruled. Napoleon's downfall was as dramatic as his ascent. From a brilliant military commander and a visionary leader, he became a figure of defeat, exiled and isolated. His Russian campaign and the Battle of Waterloo are studied even today as examples of strategic overreach and the unpredictable nature of warfare. Napoleon may have died in exile, but his legacy was far from over. His influence on military tactics, statecraft and law, among many other fields, continues to resonate. His life, full of triumphs and defeats, continues to fascinate us, serving as a reminder of the fleeting nature of power and the enduring allure of ambition. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who once ruled much of Europe, left an indelible mark on the world. This impact can be seen in various aspects of life, from law and governance to military strategies, even extending to art and culture. One of Napoleon's most enduring contributions is the Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal framework that fundamentally transformed the French legal system and significantly influenced other countries. It championed the principles of civil liberties, uniform law, and meritocracy, rejecting privileges based on birth and allowing freedom of religion. This code, with its principles of equality and individual rights, laid the groundwork for modern civil law systems across the globe. Napoleon's influence is not limited to the realm of law. His military strategies revolutionized the art of warfare. His innovative use of mobility, speed, surprise, and the flexible deployment of forces in the battlefield turned conventional military thinking on its head. These tactics are still studied and employed in military academies worldwide today. His life and reign also had a profound impact on art and culture. The Napoleonic era was characterized by grandeur and opulence, which was reflected in the art, architecture, and literature of the time. Napoleon himself was a patron of the arts and encouraged the creation of works that glorified his reign and achievements. This period, known as the Empire style, left a lasting imprint on the world of design and aesthetics. Beyond the tangible, Napoleon's life story, from his humble beginnings to his meteoric rise and dramatic fall, has fascinated and inspired countless writers, filmmakers, and artists. His story has been immortalized in countless novels, films, paintings, and sculptures, contributing significantly to global popular culture. More than 2 centuries after his death, Napoleon's influence can still be felt in the world today. His story serves as a powerful reminder of how one person can change the course of history.